The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
You cut off
8:12.
Carrie Peugeot.
I did not.
Why would you do
The
that?
machine did that.
She's such a nice lady.
AI is taking over everything.
Oh, boy.
I blame AI.
He comes in starting trouble.
I get a parking ticket. I
Yeah.
blame AI.
I don't think that's a thing, Ken. Nice try, though.
Good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Quentin Carroll is here. He's our special guest co-host today. Also in the studio, Kristen Box with St. Joseph Public Schools. We'll get an update from the Bear Den, news from the Bear Den coming up. But first, Zach East is the Director of Organizational Sustainability for the United Way of Southwest Michigan. Zach, good morning. It's great to have you here.
Ken, thanks for allowing me to wander into your studio as usual. I appreciate it very much. I come bearing data.
Oh, excellent.
Everyone's favorite thing at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Without coffee.
Let's hear it.
So every year we talk a bit about the ALICE. Well, I mean, we always talk about the ALICE population.
We do, and
at
remind
United Way.
people who don't remember what that ALICE stands for.
Yes, so it's asset limited, income constrained, employed.
Yep.
The best way to describe the ALICE population, because really you know somebody within this population, it is the 41% of people who pretty much make things run around our state, our country. They're in a lot of those really important jobs that exist in all sorts of different places. A lot of it has to do with things like food service, and it can be as simple as construction and those sorts of things. But this is the group of people that United Way concentrates the most upon. And that's a question that we get fairly often. Well, if you're helping people, then aren't you one of a bunch of different organizations that helps people who are, quote, poor? Well, the answer is, to an extent, United Way actually deals with this ALICE population more than any other entity. And there are plenty of organizations and ways in which those who are at the actual poverty level or below are being supported. We concentrate on that group of people above the poverty line, but are just on that cusp of some major life event happening for them that brings them into the poverty level.
Okay.
So supporting that group of people who are, again, very active and out there within our communities and are, again, employed, are a big part of what we do to make sure that our local economy is well supported, but the people within our area are well supported. Every year, United for ALICE, which is a organization within a lot of the different United Ways across different states throughout the country, come together and they analyze a bunch of data that comes from all sorts of different places, including the census, and they come up with actual county by county numbers that show how the ALICE population is faring. And no surprise here, but the ALICE population has generally remained about flat, pretty much almost since the pandemic.
Not getting worse, not getting better.
Yeah, well, and it's also dependent in some places. Like in Berrien County, it's tended to go down by 1%, but then maybe be up the next year. And that can be from lots of different things, including population shifts.
Sure.
But it's also, of course, due to the different shifts that happen within the industries that occur in the area. Because, of course, if jobs change or jobs don't exist, that, of course, changes ALICE's ability to move upward and hopefully not downward.
Right.
Within where they are within their standing. So I'm not going to bore you with a huge amount of numbers and data and things, but just know that we'll release a lot of this information here in the coming week on our website, uwsm.org. And here's the reason it's important. Here is the reason why we want folks to really look at why we pay attention to these numbers. Number one, it's the way in which we actually help decide what funding goes to what programs throughout the 49 different impact partners we work with and the 70-plus programs that we fund throughout Southwest Michigan in Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties.
Yeah.
They all have to meet different, designations of things that they need to try to impact. But the biggest part of it is they have to make sure they are supporting that ALICE population to try to keep them from dipping below the ALICE line, but really working to, of course, raise folks above that line.
Yeah.
So whatever they can do with those programs to help that be a resource or just something that really, again, helps those folks move upwardly as much as possible is important to us. And it'll continue to be, even with all the changes in federal and state funding.
Yeah, so it's concrete evidence of here's the population that is at most risk, and here's where the most need is, and here's how we're helping.
And when you donate to United Way, we basically take those dollars, and this is why United Way was always a big deal for me from the 15 plus years that I've been volunteering, and I'm now on the staff, is United Way does a ton of work to make sure that these organizations that are using these dollars that you donate or that we get from other sources like grants and foundations and otherwise, and the tiny, tiny amount we might get from the state or federal folks, is that we make sure that those folks are held accountable to the things they say they're going to do to make change, to make an actual impact in this community, not somewhere else, not in the state itself, but right here within our home area, so that those dollars that you donate actually do get leveraged and then are allowed to actually produce lots of other things, including the programs that we talk about often, like Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, the 211 resource hotline, which is absolutely free for anybody to dial. So those are the things in which we really care about, especially now when people need it the most, when those, again, funding decisions are going to be in question throughout different places. And one thing that I also want to point out too is United Way doesn't fund more than 30% of the programs that we actually fund. So we're not here to replace federal and state dollars. We're not here to save the day on any of the things that unfortunately may or may not happen with funding changes federally or within the state. But we are here to make sure that those programs that we did put some support to continue to be supported here within the next year. So we've extended our funding cycle to do that. And it's one of the many reasons why when we ask for your dollars at United Way, we truly are making sure that they are making the most leveraged impact possible, and that it's not just relying on a kind of a hope that, the budgets go the way they go or the funding goes the way that it goes. We do as much as we possibly can to make sure that when you give us, even if it's $20, even if it's $5 at an event or just, outright, that gets leveraged to something or a different somethings, more importantly, every day.
How can people access this Alice information if they want to dig into the details of where the issues are, and how can people connect with you to give money if they so choose?
So if you're a data person, unitedforalice.org is the website, and it actually has a lot of statistics throughout the entire, not only state, but also many different states that are part of this project. But if you're interested in finding out more or finding out how you can help, and again, donating is just one way. Volunteering is another great way to assist, and that's at uwsm.org.
Okay. All right. Zach East, Director of Organizational Sustainability at United Way of Southwest Michigan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. We appreciate it. We'll be back in just a moment with Kristen Box. She's the superintendent for St. Joseph Public Schools. News from the Bear Den is coming up.